Hello everyone, and welcome to my senior project proposal presentation. My name is Sarah Cook, and I'm here to introduce you to my concept. So the highlight. So basically, my idea is to create a 3D immersive world using Unity and Maya, and I want to create this little town here. This is my blueprint. It is a wizarding town, and it consists of basically a bunch of wizards who are very magically talented, but are really not good when it comes to architecture. They came together and they thought to themselves, well, I would love to have a community. I would love to have a house, but I really don't know how to build a house, so what can I do? So they look at what they have. They have shoes and they have cutlery, and they said, what if I took this fork and I made it humongously, just totally tall, and I put a bunch of rooms in there? I could totally live in there using my magical abilities. So this is their little town, and they are in constant peril of a neighboring village, and it is occupied by the rodents of Rodentia, which are half human, half rodent hybrids who constantly raid their village for their resources. So they thought to themselves, okay, we really need help. So they team up with another kingdom, and these are another hybrid human beings, and they're half owl, half people, and they're known as owlings. They constantly eat, actually, the rodents of Rodentia to keep the population down, but they're also magically talented as well and share their knowledge with the wizarding village here. So I was heavily influenced by Sergei Tiganov. He is an extremely talented artist who makes really surreal creations, like you can see what he's holding here. Here are some examples of his work. As you can see, it follows the idea of taking everyday objects and turning them into really beautiful living spaces. His drawings are based upon folklore, stories, and myths from around the world. He specializes in fine line and detailed work. He is a very, very talented printmaker, and he has a lot of his work up in Chicago and St. Petersburg. When I started researching for this project, I knew I wanted something really unique and special, and I really didn't want to settle for anything that would be too basic. So I was looking on Pinterest, and when I saw his work, I thought to myself, this is a really perfect example of what I want to portray. I was also really influenced by fairy tale stories. My entire life I've been told about all kinds of glorious, stories about living in different really special homes, and one really stood out to me, and that was the story of the lady that lived in a shoe. The story goes that she and her family were living in a really beautiful house, but it was destroyed by a neighboring giant. When they were displaced from their home, they went searching in the forest for a new place to live, and they came across a gigantic shoe, as you can see, and most likely it was left by the giant. So the woman thought to herself, well, what if we lived in this house? And I really love that concept, and I think it would be really great to bring that into my 3D model world. So I just really love the concept, and I love how a lot of this artwork is similar to Sergei's as well. So here is some evidence of the work that I've created so far. So as we stated previously, this is my blueprint. I have started creating all of the road work here, as you can see. I've gotten most of it done. Right here is where the majority of the houses are, but I'm going to put some here as well. I want to make sure that there was a little road that goes through some wilderness before you get to the actual town to give the feeling of in the middle of the woods, as in a fairy tale woods. Here's a closer look. As you can see, it's a little bit more detailed. You can see a lot of the trees I put in, and as we go further, you'll see more and more detail of what I've done so far. This is the road work here, and around it there is some grass and all kinds of other foliage. Here's a really good close-up of what I've done so far. I have a couple of lakes, as you can see, and we're going to do a little walk through to show this is the initial going through the woods before you hit the town. So I'm going to play a little video for you here to show that. This is in Unity 3D. I brought all of these. This is completely hand done by me. We're going to go down the road a little bit, and this is going to show the image that you saw before of the two lakes. gives a little bit of a view of what I've done so far. I brought in all kinds of different trees and grass and flowers, and I hope to make this world really beautiful and very detailed. This is just a basic start of what I've got so far, but I hope to gain a lot more detail as I go along. Okay. Oops, started playing again. Here is one of the house models I've made so far based off of Sergey's work. It is a knife house, so the whole idea of bringing everyday objects into living spaces. I've done some texturing work, but it's going to be a lot more detailed as I continue. Here's model number 2. This one was a little bit more difficult to create, but I had a lot of fun making it. I'm going to bring it into Mudbox, and I'm going to add a lot more fine detail and a lot more colors to make it really pop. Again, I really love the idea of taking everyday objects and just making them into something really beautiful and livable. So the goals for the end of the semester and next semester. So by the end of October, I hope to complete at least another model with texturing and to drop it into the terrain of the world that you saw previously. By the end of November, I want to complete at least 3 more model houses with texturing and to drop it into the terrain. I'm also going to be working a lot more on the terrain and have at least 40% complete, adding in a lot of the housing areas, a lot more gardening areas to make it look like a real place to live. By the end of December, I hope to complete an additional 3 models with textures and to complete at least 60% more of the terrain fine-tuning, adding a lot more detail, a lot more coloring to really make it feel homey. And by the end of the next semester, I'll have at least 10 completed and textured models, and to complete the rest of the terrain and fine-tune the overall look. I am very excited to make this a reality. I've always wanted to create what's in my mind into real life, and I'm so excited to use the details and all of the great tools that I've learned throughout the years at Stetson to complete this work. I thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I hope you have a wonderful day.